Hey guys, it's Bina, and welcome back to another YouTube video. This one I'm gonna go over the patch 1.4.2 that just released. So apparently they fixed frogs. Frogs were being bugged and being able to summon 21. I haven't read anything. Let's go over it, and I'll be just reading it all out. So if you want to just put this video in the background and hear out the patch notes, here they are. Omen windows. Decrease the tether range on the Omen to incentivize it to stay within the window more. That is fine. It was sometimes buffing monsters outside of it. Made adjustment to the Timeglass core UI for improved readability and ease of use. Omen window range in the minimap is now more accurate. Roaming Omens can now drop idol altars and Omen idols in addition to the regular loot. Okay, this is very good. Roaming Omens can now drop idol altars and Omen idols. So this means that you always want to spec in your Weaver tree for roaming Omens for sure now. Switch the minimap fog to red when you exit any non-gridded window. Okay, so good fixes to Omen windows. Corrupted items. Added a visual indicator to item UIs if the item is ruined. Thank goodness, because that was a complaint I had yesterday, actually. Added sound effect when an item is ruined by corruption. Thank you. Minor UI polish for ruined item tooltips. Great. Amazing stuff. Content updates. Campaign. The town portal is now unlocked when arriving in any town, not just the Keeper's camp. This avoids an issue in multiplayer where you could bypass unlocking it when portaling to party member who is further ahead in campaign. Good. Monolith. Added minimap icons for the objects that let you open the Monolith Echo Web UI. Alright. Echo chains. Added feedback when continuation portal is used, but previous echo still is active with another player inside, so multiplayer stuff. Arena. Random events can no longer spawn in arena, nor arena echoes. Exiled mages, loot lizards, okay. Except those that are spawned as part of the wave, the Rift Beasts. Huh, this is kind of interesting. I wonder if this is because there was a sort of a exploit, just resetting arena to get some nemesises, caches, champions, and whatnot. Affixes. The corrupted affix granting bees per 10 seconds available on all idols is now over 3 times as common as previously. Thank goodness, because, you know, those were really rare for no reason. The corrupted affix granting LEBs is also more common. The Keeper's affix granting bees per 10 seconds available Grand Primal Omen idols is now over 5 times as common as previously. Okay. Enemies. So all the bee idols, way more common. Enemies. The Rift Beast has gone through some counseling and has learned to better regulate his toxicity. Poison stacks applied from the Noxious Blood adaptation no longer pierces all poison res? Are you freaking serious? Is this for real? Was this always a thing, or was this a bug? While the ground dot associated with the acidic petals adaptation no longer scales its damage infinitely over its lifetime. What the hell is this? Was this always in the game? Oh man, I don't think I've ever died from these dots particularly, but yeah, that is something. That is a fix to be written in the books of fixes, you know. Idle stall in the Bazaar. Added item type and subfilters to the idle stall. If only one item type is selected, the subtype filter will appear, similar to a unique modifier. This should make filtering for special idle subtypes easier. For example, Omen, Weaver, Heretical. Added class requirement filter to the generic idle stall. Improve the quick filter. Shift right click on an item with Bazaar listing to open. Applying a quick filter automatically searches after the filters are set. Previously only set the filters. Affix filter now sets all exalted, reforged, set, and corruption only affixes. Previously only exalted. Idol altars now sets the affix filter for every affix. Previously only exalt. Affixes set by quick filter now use the lowest roll that will result in the same stat value for that item type. Previously set exact roll, which would exclude item with the same effective stat, but technically lower rolls. Okay. Quality of life fixes. Ability tooltips. Move the mana suffix from the number to the cost label, so ability tooltips values are easier to quickly read. Alright. Added a default open-close sound for panels that don't have a custom sound. Added blocking of movement if full screen panel is open. Added blocking of movement if full screen panel is open. Added blocking of movement. What? Is this a reduction in quality of life? I'll have to test in game, but added blocking of movement if full screen panel is open. I think this is bad. This is very bad, I think. Stash. The stash will now default to the last tab that was open when you close it during this game session. Thank you. You used to have to like interact with the tab. Weaver Tree UI. Added new toasts informing players why an item couldn't be imprinted. Okay. Added feedback for when a skill is attempted to be casted outside of its max range. Okay. Increase the vertical loot label spread when you drop multiple items close to each other. Increased the vertical loot label spread. Isn't this bad? We'll have to see in game. I think if this makes labels further apart from one another, I'm pissed. Visual and sound updates. Mage. Fire Aura. Improve the visibility of the Fire Aura visual effect. Good. Primalist. Claw Totem. Edited Claw Totem spawns to be punchier and more noticeable in combat. Gathering Storm. Adjusted the Gathering Storm. The Stormbolt Ice visual to be more consistent with the Primalist's other ice abilities. Improve visibility of Gathering Storm, Stormbolt visual effects for the cold and physical conversions. Sentinel Healing Hands. Updated the sound for the Skyfall node. Notably, this stops it from playing quite so jarringly every second of channeling. Warpath, the fire variant of the Warlash subskill, has had its visuals updated. Enemies, Honey Golems. Edited Honey Golem hit sound from metallic to wooden and edited its death sound effect. Imperial Watcher. Edited Imperial Watcher's laser beam attack sound to cut through combat more effectively. Okay. Environment. Overhauled the visual of the Mono Echo Burning Forest. Items. Several weapon models. Coiled Bident, Dragon Slayer Glaive, Mortador's Reach, and the Judicator. Bug fixes on Acolyte. Aura of Decay. Fix an visual issue when on inclines. Bone Curse. Fix an issue where it was possible to cause the wrong element visual to attach to enemies or players by speccing Misery, the physical conversion node. Removing Misery and then respecking Signet of Agony, Aura Toggle node. Transplant. Fix an issue where transplant casting sounds were missing. Okay. Mage. So bug fixes on Mage. Volcanic Orb. Fix an issue where Volcanic Orb and its conversions were playing the Shrapnel's hit sound on each cast of Shrapnel. Arcane Ascendance. Fix an issue where Arcane Ascendance would not prevent the player from moving if cast while using a channeled movement ability. So that was a... This is such an old bug. This is such an old bug. Black Hole. Fix an issue where the Collapse subskill had a Void tag instead of its intended Cold tag. Enchant Weapon. Fix an issue where the Unstable Enchantment node would fail to cast Elemental Nova in online mode. Fire Aura. Fix an issue where the size of the visual did not match the skill's effective range. Runification. Fix rune icons appearing too high above the player. Fix an issue where, when using a controller, some skills will not abide by their max distance targeting. Primalist. Gathering Storm. Fix an issue where the lightning version visual was erroneously low resolution. Sabretooth. Fix a visual issue for the cold Sabretooth variant. Scorpion. Fix an issue where Maelstrom cast by summon Scorpion's Frozen Wind nodes were not benefiting from the player's Typhoon node. I think this might be pretty big for Scorpion. I think this might be pretty big for Scorpion. What is Typhoon? What is Typhoon? Anyways, might be pretty good for Maelstrom. Maelstrom Scorpion. Swipe. Fix an issue where Swipe was not applying on hit effects with a second attack in the sequence of the ability. So that's a pretty good fix. Tornado. Fix an issue that was preventing Tornado's Eye of the Storm node from attaching Tornado to player. Okay, so Swarmblade fixed. Sorry. Oh, sorry guys. Werebear form, fixed roar from intimidating cry node, not playing a sound. Acolyte, Rib Blood. Fix an issue where Rib Blood cast by Chaos Bolt exacted libation node was cast from the hit enemy position towards a constant direction. Now it casts from the player's position towards the enemy's position. Shadow Rend, adjusted ending animation recovery to better blend into the Shadow Rogue's motion. Shadow Rend, fix some audio issue with the skill. Sentinel Forge Strike. Fix the visual effects for the node Anvil Blow lingering after the skill ended. Shield Bash. Fix issues causing flurry of blows, unique audio to play back more quiet than intended. Shield Throw. Eruption of Coal's tooltip has been corrected to reflect that the effect is triggered on both enemies and allies alike. Steel Shield Throw. Steel Defender and Faith Guard now affect the caster when they are hit by a ricochet, granting with throwing arm. Fix an issue where Shield Throw could get a long cooldown if you got stunned during its cast. Fix an issue where it would randomly fail to cast when using directional movement on Void Cleave. Okay. Items. Abandoned Eyes of the Weaver. Fix an issue where the first level of all skills would be applied at 60 total attributes, then additional points at every 120 attributes from that initial 60. The first level of all skills would be applied at 60, then additional points at every 120 from that initial 60. Okay, so we were getting too many levels. Okay. This doesn't change. Like, my guide did not account for this, so it's okay. Fix the added melee damage for Summon B from Apiarist Com being counted as regular non-skill specific added melee damage for the purpose of the percentage of added melee damage against as spell damage mod. The added melee damage for Summon B being counted as regular non-skill specific added melee damage for the purpose. Okay. Apiarist set. Fix a visual issue with a Queen Bee's wings. Fix a visual issue for some weapons. Idol Altars. Fix an issue where the Weaver Idol max limit affix did not allow swapping one Weaver Idol for another directly. You needed to remove one first and then add a second. Good. Roots of Vitrasil. Fix an issue where the extra prod for Spirit Thorns granted by Stacks of Germination would, from the Roots of Vitrasil unique boots, would apply to the minions that could cast Spirit Thorns. The build needed this. These boots are trash if it doesn't work like this. Rip, dude. The land before. Fix an issue where the land before was not considering corrupted unique idols to be unique. So okay, no more stacking of the land before, so no more 21 frogs. Going back to the regular setup. So that's okay. You lose about, like, compared to like compared to like regular idol setup, you lose maybe like 45% damage. No, you don't lose 45% damage. You lose. This was giving you like 45% more damage than before, but compared to what you have right now, you will lose less than that, right? Still absolutely S tier. Don't get baited by anyone who says frogs are dead or anything like that. Frogs are not dead. They're absolutely bonkers. They're crazy. They're S tier. Excellent Uber Abrot farmer. Please don't get baited by people who don't know what they're talking about. The frog build is still absolutely amazing. Tribo Electra. Fix an issue where Tribo Electra static orb cast on evade would travel in the opposite direction if the player was targeting a point close to them when starting to evade. Okay. Campaign. Fix an issue where the quest A Hero Bittering Cur, Bittering Fang was not properly in the quest list. Remove the no longer relevant crafting tutorial quest in Chapter 4. The Risen Lake. Fix an issue where the player could visually sink into the floor. Observatory Floor Colliders. Fix an issue where the player could visually sink into the floor. The Ruins of Welrin. Fix an issue where evade could be used to pass through some walls. The Tomb of Morditas. Fix an issue where a visual issue where some of the trees in the scene. Okay. Mono. Fix several instances of atmospheric effects like rain or snow could appear in incorrect scenes or too intensely. Fractured Prison. Fixed an issue where, in online, the vision of the observer teleportability could cause it to follow a player back to the echo of a world if the target of this ability portaled out of the encounter before the ability had resolved. The Fall of Ledria fixed some issues with the quest icons for NPCs in this quest echo. The Woven Echo Bloodline Glade. The primordial exalted item granted as reward for slaying the champion time beast will now have their tier 8 affixes properly tied to the type of champions that have been defeated during the encounter. Okay? Woven Echoes. Entrances for Woven Echo specific cemeteries are now named correctly. Dungeons. Fix an issue where, in a party, players were portaled back to the boss arena when a party member left the dungeon. Arena. Offline. Fix an issue where gold loot labels would remain stuck on the screen after wave 20 if not picked up. Random encounters. Nemesis. Fix a visual issue with the object used to start the Nemesis encounter. Omen windows. Fix an issue that caused Omen window encounter UI to sometimes not disappear correctly after completion. Omen windows. Fix an issue where enemies wouldn't play their special on-death visual effects in offline. Fix an issue where Omen chat barks were not translated. Fix an issue where Omen windows could take the texture of decals on the ground below them. Fix an issue where the fractured overlay visual effect was not noticeable on some enemies. Fix an issue where windows wouldn't look correct when placed on inclines. Fix an Scarven. Fix an animation issue with the Huntmaster. Tombs. Fix an issue where silken cocoons could spawn in arena echoes. Factions. Damn, these are pretty big patch notes. Fix prophecies that rewarded Weaver Wheel item to sometimes dropping an exalted instead of a Weaver Wheel item. What? That's weird. Enemies. Ada. Fix an issue where Spark Attack Proj were not removed on death. Okay. The Dragon's Grow's boss. Coalesce Sludge. The damage over time from Poison Bone Spikes created by Coalesce Sludge now deals slightly less damage per interval and can no longer critically strike. Okay. Good. Boy, damage over time should not critically strike. Fix an issue with its Diamond Nagas. Fix an issue with its stunned animation. Bumble Bear. Fix an issue where the ramming flight hitbox could extend beyond its visual size. Diamond Nagasa. Fix an issue where it's stunned with its stun animation. Oh, this one is doubled. Dryad Guardian. Fix an issue where their feet weren't visible. Ooh, for the feet enjoyers. Emperor of Corpse. The soul bombs created by the Emperor of Corpse timeline boss now deals tremendously less damage. This is a temporary change while we investigate an issue with its indicators, which causes them to regularly fail to properly indicate the area of the attack. So, can we just tank every soul bomb now? Can we just stand still in the middle of Emperor of Corpse? I can almost guarantee that they will never bring back this damage. Don't quote me on that, but I can almost guarantee it. It's like a fail-safe, basically. Flame Griffin. Fix an issue where it's where it was damageable while emerging. Imperial Researcher. Fix an issue where some of its abilities were missing audio. Maddened Grold. Fix an issue where they were sliding in animation after spawning. Raya the Black Sun. Fix an issue where it would not always teleport to middle to start its Void Flares attack. That was big. I almost died to this on hardcore. Rift Beast. Ice and Fire Whirlwinds created by the Rift Beast now have their AoE standardized and deal considerably less damage per tick. I died to this. I died to this on day 1. Rift Beast. Fix an issue where the Fire Breath hitbox could extend beyond its visual size. Scarab Rider. Fix an issue with their stun animation as well as its movement and idle animation. Skeletons. Fix an issue where skeleton enemies wouldn't animate properly when revived via the familiar modifier. Skeletons. Fix an issue where some version of skeleton would not animate properly on death. Soul Cage Warden. Fix an issue with its movement animation. Swollen Corpse Champion. Fix them dropping loot before Omen window completion like other champions. T-Rex. Fix an issue where their feet would slide during idle animation. Thornclaw. Balance Thornclaw enemy to be more in line with enemies of this type. Vision of the Observer. Fix an issue where the teleport targeting for the vision of the observer would sometimes be incorrect. Void Amalgamation. Fix an issue where they would appear to visually shrink during a certain animation. Void Husk Nagasa. Fix an issue with its entrance and turning animation. Voidborn Nemesis. Its black hole attack no longer persists after death. And then we have a bunch of UI fixes. Fix an issue in the Bazaar with clicking buy or cancel in the Bazaar would put you back to the top of the list. Fix an issue where the idle affix mod range were not scaled on the first rollable type, instead defaulting to that of 1.1. Fix an issue where the rarity filter did not expand to be full width when the class requirement filter was hidden. Fix an issue where the back button could only be clicked along the bottom of the right edge of its visual. Fix an issue where the gold display in the Bazaar header could be partially obscured when viewing my stall. Fix an issue where discovered blessings sometimes showed an undiscovered tooltip. Character select. Fix an issue where rapidly swapping characters in character select would cause armor visuals to behave strangely. Character sheet. Fix an issue where the tooltip for intelligence incorrectly stated that it granted 4% ward retention per point instead of the actual 2%. This is a text-only fix. It has been 2% in functionality since Season 2 and matches what was already listed in the game guide. This one blows my mind how this was not fixed immediately in Season 2 when it was introduced. We are in Season 4. This blows my mind. It's fixed. Chat. Fix an issue where announcement could overlap with chat message. Controller faction menu. Fix an issue with switching faction with LBRBL1R1. Remove selection focus to the faction selection window instead of the open faction panel. Controller loot filter. Fix an issue with controller could not up or down movement or navigate the color selection in the loot filter beam submenu. Controller MTX shop. Fix a navigation issue where it wasn't possible to reach the view and shop button with a controller. Cosmetic shop. Fix an animation issue with Primalist in the cosmetic preview window. Fix an issue with their UI size was smaller than it had previously been. Echo Web UI. Fix an issue where stability gains were listed on completed echoes when moused over. Bro, we're almost done. Fix an issue where adjusting the UI scale would not adjust the scale of the settings menu until it was reopened. Fix an issue where the confirm button for buying a new stash app was not grayed out if you did not have the required gold. Fix some woven echoes not being fully hoverable when placing them in the monolith, the Fading Brink, Gauntlet of Strife, and Cenotaph of Worlds. Forge. Fix an issue that caused cocoon item to be displayed as corrupted items in the Forge crafting panel. Forgotten Knights menu. Pressing on a certain Harbinger in the faction panel now correctly opens the map panel on the proper timeline. Inventory. Right-clicking on the time glass fragments in your resource tab will now open the world map focusing on a waypoint next to Affixes. Inventory. Fix an issue where right-clicking some resource in the resource tab would open up a world map unnecessarily. I hope this is not for keys. Item tooltips. Fix an issue where some hybrid mods had gaps in their alt text or repeated their alt text. Loot filter. Fix an issue where filter icons would appear beneath the scroll bar. Fix an issue where woven echoes condition could not be selected. What? I was able to. Fix an issue causing enlarged loot labels on widescreen display. Nemesis. Fix an issue with the controller cursor on the Nemesis being incorrectly sized for X and the Empower button. Weaver tree. Fix an issue with the unconfirmed points spent in the Weaver tree were visibly behind the Weaver tree nodes, making it hard to read. Smoothed out the visual effects when confirming or allocating. Allocating or respecting nodes in Weaver tree. Fix an issue on controller where you couldn't select the woven echo tab in the echo web placement node without using the visual cursor. Cosmetic. Venomous Fang Serpent Strike. Fix an issue where Primal Serpent spawn while this cosmetic was equipped would still have their default visual. Fractured Cosmetic. Fix a visual issue. Temple Familiar. Fix an issue with the pet where it could take the textures of decals. It was above like a chameleon. Okay. Other. Fix some dialogue issues with Forgotten Knight and Mask. Remove placeholder text in the Circle of Fortune quest. Fix a typo in a Chapter 10 quest. Character select. Fix an issue where the character effect cosmetics items were sometimes displayed above character in character select screen. Controller haptics. Added a few missing haptics for Earthquake and Flame Wave abilities. Minor adjustment to existing melee ability haptics. Fix an issue that caused some items to be dropped on the ground instead of falling back to the inventory after failing to equip them. Fix an issue that could cause items to be offset in the UI after failing to equip them. Fix an issue where forced movement setting allowed movement through the UI panel. Fix an issue where NPCs text boxes were preventing movement when your mouse was over the box. Fix an issue where portals could sometimes fail to display the nameplates of the area they would be taking you to. Fix an issue where you could not see a weapon equipped in the offhand if there was none equipped in the main hand. Fix an issue where, when first loading into the game from your character select, gear could take a moment to visually appear on your character. Rogue animation. Fix a visual issue with the rogue stun animation. Wow, okay, so they fixed a lot of stuff. I think mostly good. Some of the things are kind of weird. Like the stuff opening the menu, you can't move anymore. I'm gonna have to test. The loot labels being further apart, I'm gonna have to test in game. Frogs having been bug fixed, so no more 21 frogs, back to the regular setup. And nothing really stands out to me. Some fixes like tornado not attaching, scorpion fixes, lots of good fixes. Overall, I think good patch notes. Overall good. I've been having a blast with season 4. I hope you have too. And that pretty much covers patch 1.4.2. I hope you have a great time in Last Epoch season 4. I'm about to go kill Uber on my frogs, so I'll go back to game to blast. I'll see you guys all in the next video. I hope you have a great time with season 4.